All right. Well, welcome to the Pure Light Project podcast. Today, I'm going to be working with Marisa, and she is coming on as a volunteer to do a session with me. And we're going to do a bit of some transformation work around her questions about what to do with her work in her business. And when I talk about transformation, it's really, really looking holistically at our hearts, our minds, our bodies, how so much of the time our bodies are maybe giving us clues as to what's right and what's not for us. Uh, and then if there's blocks, we're going to work to set those free. So and we'll do that in about 30 to 40 minutes. We're gonna sit and visit and go through this session together. So thank you so much, Marisa, for being here and being willing to open yourself up like this. I think it's such a gift to you and to anybody who sees this or listens to this. So thank you.
I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm looking forward to exploring and just seeing where this goes.
Yeah. So tell me about what kinds of questions you're running up against in yourself. What areas and
Mhm.
kind of what brought you here today?
Well, the main thing that I want more clarity and direction on is around my business, my coaching business. The rest of my life, everything's wonderful. I have a wonderful relationship with my husband, my family. I have a great life, lots of abundance in my life. But I've been seem to be running up or experiencing a lot of blocks around attracting clients to work with in my own business. And I've done some various types of healing work, different energy work with people, taken courses. I've done so many different things, but there's still something that seems to be in the way, and I don't know what that is. So
Okay.
that's really what I'd like to see, because I feel really confident about what gifts I have to share, the transformation that I provide. And I've worked with a lot of people, family and friends, and people that haven't paid me, that when it comes to actually attracting paying clients, I seem to be blocked there somehow.
Okay, so let's start with what might be the obvious question is, are you noticing blocks around money, around receiving or asking for what you feel you're you're offering is worth, right? Is there
Mhm.
something in there?
Well, because of some of my past experience about putting offers out and not really getting responses, I know I've got some blocks now in terms of I have some fears about putting new things out because I don't want to
Mm,
re-experience not getting the results. So I've been really resistant to
right.
really moving forward. So I've slowed down a lot. I haven't done a lot of marketing or promotion. Yeah, so I said there's definitely some fear there around doing all the work and putting so much out there, and then it falls flat.
It's a lot of work. Anyone offering you make, there's about 75 steps involved in it.
Mhm.
And it is a lot of, even the stuff that's impromptu, there's still a lot of steps and a lot of energy and heart that goes into it. So I get that. Anybody who's running their own business or who does events and sharing, you know, it's so much. And to dial into when it doesn't go off was the block on my end. Was it a timing issue? Was it all of those things? And it's really easy to start taking those in and, oh, it must mean something about me, or it must mean something about I'm off track. And so
Mhm.
let's start with I'm gonna do just a little bit of connecting with you in the quantum field, right?
Mhm.
Out in the field, and just want to get a read of you and also move a little energy. So I invite you to close your eyes and notice in your body. I'm going to ask maybe 2 or 3 questions, each time connecting to the body. When you think about, actually, let's reframe that. When you feel into crafting the perfect offering that makes you feel strong and happy to bring it, it's the offering that also serves the people you want to work with in the most optimal way, right? So it's all aligned. How does that feel in your body?
I feel excitement, like being able to contribute and really help people with transforming their family relationships, and feel a lot of joy at just the anticipation of that.
Yeah. Okay. And now when you feel into maybe the one offering you made that you thought was going to achieve that, is there one that comes to mind?
Mm, it's been a while since I've actually put an offer out there. Think about that. I guess even offering a complimentary coaching call, and I didn't get very much response. That was really surprising to me
Okay.
because there was no, I made it really clear it wasn't like a sales pitch. It was really a genuine offer
Yeah.
to give people an experience of the connection practice coaching session, which is a very specific type of process. Um, yeah, so I was quite surprised, and when I'd given a 50% off offer and not gotten much response, I again was very surprised because there's so much value in the session.
And where does that show up in your body when you're feeling that right now, remembering that? Where do you feel that?
It's tough because that's another area that I have blocks, is being able to really connect with those feelings in
Okay.
my body physically.
Well, sometimes we consider that if you don't feel it sort of below the neck, we work with it with the notion that it is in your mind, right? That this
Mm.
block, this is in your mind, which is where most things are actually, right? So let me work. I'm going to focus there. I'm just going to focus sort of on the brain, the crown, the third eye, the throat chakras. We're just going to kind of work some energy in that space. If you feel anything, if you feel it shifting anywhere, just let me know where it moves to. And if you don't feel anything, if that's difficult for you, that's all right. So we're just going to take a minute or two here to focus there. So sensing a really deep sense of heaviness, almost of sadness across the shoulders and the upper chest and the back, the upper back. I'm going to work there as well. When you feel into your relationship with money, and let's focus specifically on receiving. Um, Receiving, and this can mean in any way, right? Earned income, gifted income, just gifts in general, abundance, meeting you a penny on the street, right? Just receiving. Um, Receiving the gift of staying somewhere, friend picking up lunch, whatever. Where do you feel that in your body?
I want to say in my heart, you feel gratitude.
Okay. So let's amplify that gratitude. And the gratitude isn't connected to being worthy, it's just simply being willing to receive, right? Hmm. Keep sensing a lot of constriction around the throat, base of the throat. Let's say right now, I'd like you to, if it feels good to you, and these are always, if it feels good to you, if it doesn't, that's just okay. We'll move on. But right now, express gratitude for a moment to your ability to receive easily.
Verbally would like me to do that or within myself?
Yeah, like if you would like to just say out loud, verbalize
Mhm.
thanks to yourself for being able to receive easily and openly.
I am so grateful and thankful for being able to receive so openly and generously
Yeah.
and easily.
Hmm. Let's say it one more time.
I am grateful and thankful for being able to receive with ease and with abundance.
Hmm. Take a breath deep down into your belly, lower belly, all the way down as far as you can. Receiving in the abundance of breath. And then exhaling generously. Noticing if there's any catches, any blocks. Is there anywhere that it felt hard to do that in your body? Like hard to exhale from or hard to inhale past?
Not noticing anything in particular. No.
Okay, good, good. Sometimes when it's hard to notice for yourself, when it's difficult to sort of notice sensation in the body, we can start with these really just working with the breath, right? Or gentle touch on our body, noticing where it feels um, hard for us. Breath is great because, for years being, I spent unable to breathe past my upper chest. And it took a lot of practice to bring that down. And what happened then is being able to open to fully breathe with virtually every part of my body. And that increases blood flow, it increases sensation. The energy channels just open right up. So let's actually take a minute and um, Are you comfortable in your seat? Do you need,
Mhm.
okay. So what I want you to do is let's breathe deep down. We're just going to do this for about 4 or 5 breaths. So we're going to breathe in through the nostrils as much as you're able. If you need to part your lips, to open your mouth a little to help bring in a good flow of air, and bringing it in almost like you're just sucking it in, right? Just suck it all in. Open the whole body. So maybe open your arms a little, open your rib cage a little. We're working with the whole body starting to breathe with us, noticing what that feels like. Can we breathe? Can we inhale and our back expand and our shoulders expand? So they rise and they fall. And then we bring it down a little bit lower. We might come to a sort of the solar plexus, kind of between the sternum and the belly button. Can we breathe into their upper belly? And it's easy to breathe on the front. Sometimes we're not familiar at all with breathing on the sides or the back. So play with that just with your mind. Just imagine your whole, like that region expanding like a balloon. Take a couple breaths in that area. Then as we move down, we can move down to the lower belly. And that's a challenging one for most of us at the beginning. We're used to always hiding it, sucking it up, not looking weak, not looking feeling exposed. So we can drop the lower belly. Nobody's watching, right? Just let it all hang out like you just had a good meal, but all you're full of is life force and breath. You might feel the lumbar area expand. You might feel the tops of the hips start to kind of roll out a little.
I'm feeling a lot of tightness and pain in my shoulders, actually.
Okay.
When I breathe
Yeah.
deep.
So breathing in down deep like that creates you're feeling a pain in between your shoulders. Yeah.
My shoulder, breathe on both sides. No
Okay.
between, but the shoulder.
Okay. So I'm going to work a little bit of energy there. You just keep working with that breath. And if your shoulders, you might also try a different posture, right? So maybe roll your shoulders in, curve them in. Maybe you have to change position. Just like in business, sometimes we have to change position, change our posture, adapt. Give your Let your neck and your head just really slow rotations around. Breathing. And then at some point, turn and go the other direction. Okay. Take a moment and just come back to center. Let that integrate. Let's check in, what the body and being able to breathe has to do with finding our focus and our direction and our blocks, in any area, especially the work we have to do. Our bodies they hold all of that, right? They hold all of those things, and we get so used to walking through in a very specific way a lot of times, and we forget we can bend and contort and do things a little differently to give ourselves a little more grace, a little more ease. So I just want to check in. Did anything come up maybe in your heart or your mind as you were doing those things, or what was that like for you?
I was just surprised to notice the tightness. And I mean, I do generally have tight shoulders and like massages, but I've never experienced it with the deep breathing that I could feel when I was at the top of the breath.
Mhm.
That's when it was the most tense.
Yeah.
It's pain.
Yeah. There's a lot there. We carry, all of us, and especially if you're, um, I got a lot of heaviness when I was working up on your sort of your head and your brain and your mind, just like this heavy weight of the world kind of feeling. And so it's not a wonder that there's a lot a lot of soreness in there.
Mhm.
So I feel compelled to draw a card right now.
Would you like me to
Encourage you.
keep my eyes closed? Or?
Oh, you can open them now. And I'm also going to show you, I encourage this shifted so much for me. I'm going to stand and I'll try to show you. I don't know if there's enough distance between me and the computer, but really take that breath work to the next level, because what this does, I did a workshop on it last year, but really getting into, money and our security and our worthiness, right? The deep, like deep root work, right? A lot of times. And the ability to receive, the ability to give, to let go of what we need to let go of. But really doing just gentle rotation with the hip, and it opens up the breath so surprisingly, right? It's like it's so simple, and it literally changed my life, so I incorporate it every day, a few times a day. But really, so you have, let's see, you have, if you can like tuck the tailbone like this, so almost like when you're doing yoga, how you do the cat cow kind of thing, doing that standing, and then really just gentle rotation of the hips and breathing, right? So when you inhale, you're like, your hips might be at the front when you inhale, exhale back, and you're going round and round for maybe a minute, maybe 5 to 10 rotations on each, and noticing what that's like to breathe down into that region. It clear, there's so much that we hold there, even, and it affects everything, right? Because your hips, your low back, your sacral, like it goes all the way up, your spine starts there, and it affects everything. And the channels too, the energetic channel starts there. So sorry, my noise, my chair's creaking there. So I'm gonna I use a few different decks, and I'm feeling really compelled right now. There's some some animal medicine coming up. Ooh, they're just jumping out right now. Both of them jumping. Interesting. Okay. So we have the first one. I like to use these as a way of reflection. And when I draw cards, like I have set the intention that it is bringing in your highest self to give you the message you need, right? And my highest self, we're working together in the field. So the first card that came up, interestingly, I say that a lot these days, is salmon. Okay. So what do you know about salmon? Like, what's your reflection as you?
They go they go against the stream.
Yeah. They go against the stream for a long ways,
Mhm.
but then there's like immense reward, right? They go upstream to, is it to lay eggs? Like to create the cycle? It's it's been a while since high school biology class. But yeah, they do. They go against the stream, and that's not easy. And it's probably takes a little bit of
Mhm.
time. So let me see if there's anything that stands out. This this deck I've been working with since about 1992. It was the first time I ever had any introduction to oracle cards, and I was spending a lot of time with native traditions at that time in my life.
Mhm.
But it's salmon represents wisdom and inner knowing. Um, Salmon is the sacred keeper of wisdom and inner knowing, who, despite strong river currents, will always return to the place of its creation. Its determination is driven by the wisdom of instinct and inner knowing, which yields a sense of purpose that cannot be thwarted by external forces. Coming full circle, salmon medicine people finish what they begin, bringing life's events and cycles to closure. If salmon swam into your cards today, it may be telling you to trust your gut feeling and inner knowing at this time. And there's a lot more there. These usually have about 2 pages of notes, but that really stood out to me. And I'm wondering, so you've had this idea of your coaching business, right? And how it should work. And I wonder if the notion of how it should work, how much of that is from your inner knowing versus what other people have told you it should look like?
Mhm.
Is there somewhere that there's a difference?
Well, there was for a long time, definitely when I first started, because business was not my forte. It's not, being an entrepreneur. And so I was relying on experts, and what they were teaching at that time didn't resonate with me. So for many years, I had difficulty because I just wasn't aligned with the marketing strategies that were being taught.
Yeah.
And I just thought if I had to promote myself like that, I just can't do that. It's just not in alignment with my soul. So I think many years, I guess what's coming to me now is I not beat myself up, but I have made myself wrong for just staying with this for so many years, and in spite of the fact that it hasn't really flourished, and I've had shame and embarrassment around it. And yet I know for many years it was because I just couldn't do what they were saying to do. I just couldn't, and I can feel emotions. I thought I just can't do that.
Yeah.
Just seemed so, I don't know, it wasn't heart centered. And so now I know there's a lot more opportunity to share and be more authentic and heart centered. But I think I got so scarred from the past, and there's still a lot of resistance and fear in stepping out there again,
Yeah. Yeah.
and fear of doing it wrong, or yeah, just there's a lot of fear around it.
Where does that fear take hold in your body?
Hmm. I get choked up, so maybe in my throat.
Yeah. Let's take a moment, work there. And I'm inviting you at the same time to just maybe rest one or both hands in that area, just with a little bit of tenderness, like you're just nurturing it. We're clearing up the throat. It may be expression, it may be that that's just where it's come home to rest for a while, this fear. We can release the sense of hesitance to show up as your true self in the way that serves you best. Because for you to serve your clients best and to bring in the right people, you have to serve yourself first in the way that works for you, that brings you happiness. So you have the choice every day to show up in the way that feels best and right for you. Or when I say every day, just, you know, however you show up, whenever you show up, it comes through best when it's in a way that makes you happy,
Mhm.
in a way that feels right for you. So, do you know like one way that feels really good for you that you get, um, that you really enjoy?
Um, I think doing some videos and just creating inspirational memes, things that touch people's soul
Yeah.
and help them to remember the truth of who they are. And just that's uplifting and inspiring.
Yeah. Using your skills and abilities and creativity to inspire others.
Mhm.
When you inspire them, when you create something that just like it inspires you, you know, it makes you
Mhm.
go, I would respond to that.
Mhm.
um, how does it feel to then um, say, hey, reach out to me if this is, how does that feel? Does it feel good to ask for what you want?
Yeah, to do that once in a while, it doesn't feel good to ask for something, every time I share. So I don't want to, I don't want to give always, but asking to receive. I guess I like to just give and inspire people and trust that if they're inspired, they will reach out.
Yeah. Um, so let me ask you this, when it comes to, and there are many ways to inspire people. And sometimes we think it's working directly with people. Do you find, so if you were to put it maybe in a ratio, right, of working one on one with people, working in a group, or creating something that inspires, like maybe it's a book or a video or a product, right?
Mhm.
Versus a one on, like in the, those are sort of three general things that we do in this sort of capacity usually. So
Mhm.
which one, like what's the ratio or the, which, how do they rank, I guess, for you?
Well, I do love to work with groups because I love the interaction and how people can learn from each other and be inspired by one another as well. And I also like the one-on-one because sometimes you can go deeper. But in terms of ratio, I think I would prefer um, a higher percentage of my time working with groups than with one-on-one.
Okay. Okay. So that's good to know, right? It's good
Mhm.
to know.
Mhm.
All right. So what I want to do, take a sip here. Oh, we haven't got to the second card yet. Second card was drawn in, well, I literally didn't draw either of these. They jumped out of the deck, both of them, right?
Okay.
And interesting that they're both about sort of water, but dolphin came up, and it came up in contrary. So it came up upside down, which asks us to take a little more notice. Dolphin, that's some pretty, these are pretty good magical medicine. So when you think about dolphins, what's in that for you?
Well, just pure spirit and playfulness and divine.
Okay. So when you think about yourself as dolphin or as needing dolphin medicine, is there maybe a block in there? What's coming through right now very much, and I haven't read into it yet, but almost like a trust, like are you doing this consciously or not, right? Like business, we so often separate it, we segment it, even when it's a spiritual or a heart-based business. We forget to lean into spirit, into playfulness, into, dolphins, right? Like that wonderful
Exactly.
noise they make. But and when you see them leaping and frolicking, right? And they're always represented as these very special beings. And you're a very special being, right? And you have spirit coursing through you just like the dolphin does. Are you recognizing that in your work? Like for you?
I think adding playfulness to it is something that's probably lacking, because it's also something I've had difficulty with in my own life. So it's not a surprise that it would be difficult to bring it into business when, yeah, that's still something I've been working on consciously, is bringing more play into my life. And I know where it comes from childhood stuff, but the layers of healing, right? So that's definitely in there. Needs more work. Well, again, more work, more play. Again, working on play. It's kind of
Well, and like you can treat it as a practice, right? Just like any spiritual practice or any business practice, the more we practice, the better we get. So I look like a maniac in my yard, right? I've got a puppy, which gave me a good excuse, not that I ever needed one. And
Yeah.
I've been doing all this new stuff out in my yard I just look like I'm basically just jumping up and down doing this because it's helping my body integrate all the incredible energies, and I'm singing, and I'm playing soccer with the dog, and I'm doing whatever my body will. I'll take it as far as it'll let me in terms of play. Like I really want to skip. I used to love to skip, right? That's physical play, or making up songs, making up, goofy stuff. I want to see though. So what does play look like for you? How far have you made it in that in that job?
Well, I recently pulled my guitar out of the closet from many years ago and starting to play a few minutes a day to build up my calluses. And because I used to enjoy playing and singing, so that's something I've done recently.
Very nice.
And I love to play a game called Ruby Cube. So my husband and I usually play that together once a week. But other than that, there's not really much play in my life.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't really know even what I have a hula hoop, but for me it became more like an exercise tool than fun.
Well, like the hip
So,
rotation, I can't hula hoop to save my life. Like I've tried and tried, but I can't get it down. But Maybe roll it with a stick.
Or even just do it for fun and not think about it as an exercise. Just change my mindset around
Yeah,
using it as play.
yeah. That playfulness, it goes a long way, especially as we're shifting,
Mhm.
as humanity's shifting, and there's that more, we can come so much more aligned into our heart and working from there. And it still takes action, right? But
Mhm.
it's effortless action. It is Wu Wei, in the
Mhm.
Taoist teachings, right? That is nature. It is, trees don't, at least I don't think they do. This is me making an assumption, but I don't think they feel into, or I don't think they think, okay, I have to grow leaves, and to grow leaves, I have to do these 10 things on my checklist,
Right.
right? They
Mhm.
just they just expand,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Um, I, dolphin stands for in this instance, it's represented as manna, as the breath of life and the bread of
Mhm.
life. It says, dolphin speaks to us of the breath of life, the only thing that humans cannot go without for more than a few minutes. We can live without water and food for days, but oxygen is the source of our sustenance. Within the breath, we encounter the rhythm of energy that all life emits. In changing the rate or rhythmic texture of our breath, we can tap into any other life form or creature. And mana is life force. It's present in every atom, and it is Great Spirit's essence. And so there may be something in there too for you to start working with breath. Do you ever do any kind of breath practices?
Um, Not particularly. I mean, I do meditation every morning, but it's not something that I focus on my breath so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I do, but not sustain. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Okay. So I bet if you feel into it for yourself, I can think of lots of practices for you to play. But so you're making music, you're singing, right? You're working with the
Mhm.
breath, you're opening up the body, you're connecting the body. We can't operate from our heart in this realm, is my experience. I can only speak from my experience, and avoid the body. There's layers, right? And we're so concerned often with the body appearing a certain way, or us appearing a certain way through our form. And that we carry this, and we become embarrassed, or hide. Um, and then we shut down. We shut down a little bit of our heart, a little bit of our belief in ourselves. Your ability to move forward has nothing to do with what happened 6 months ago, 6 weeks ago, 6 years ago. It's right about now. Who are you willing? Are you willing to play and lighten up on yourself, right? Give yourself, keep swimming upstream, because it is coming. There's a reason that you're going upstream, and maybe the stream is your own resistance. Yeah. Your own doubts and insecurities about it, but you are you have a very um, wonderful energy. uh, it is a very clear energy. Okay. And so sometimes we can present that way, but we carry around some turmoil inside of us. And it's like it's both water, right? I write about this a lot, but in a river, right? One's more the ocean, one's the river, right? But rivers, there's these eddies,
Mhm.
log jams, it's just a swirl, but the water is still the water. The essence is still the essence. It's just, and it actually keeps moving through just at a slower rate, right? So it's just at a slower rate than if it had not got caught in a loop.
Mhm.
Okay. Let me just see if there's anything in here. It says, if dolphin appears reversed, know that you are forgetting to breathe. Um, Another message is that many signals are carried through universal tides or waves, and you may be failing to use your sonar. To detect these wave patterns, you may need to realign yourself with natural rhythms within your body. Yeah. I'll take a moment here. I'm going to stop talking. I just want to take a breath together. Are you willing to let go of the energetic block, the stain or stigma that you felt when things didn't work out in the past? Are you willing to let go of those right now?
Yes, I am.
I'm inviting, again, calling in your highest self, my highest self. We've all been here for this whole session, calling in whatever that uh, source connection, whatever that means to you. And saying thank you to all the support that surrounds Marisa, that surrounds her, that is there for her, that is inside of her right this very moment. And we are thankful that all those blocks are released, whatever has been in her way, that she can see clearly now over the next coming days, weeks, months, the exact right steps to take, knowing she can be playful and light and not worry because the manna is right there in everything. It's all right there. You're fully supported. You do have a purpose, and it is worth every action. The most important seems to be right now connecting with the breath, connecting with the body, remembering or maybe learning for the first time how to really play. And play often means not giving a damn what anybody else thinks. You just keep swimming and singing and exploring yourself. Because what happens is when you do that, oh yeah, when we do that, it makes us more equipped um, to to bring a richer, more robust, more vibrant offering for everybody. To share yourself instead of thinking about it as bringing an offering. Maybe we can lose that. Just how are you going to share what you've learned in this season?
Mhm.
Start from now. Anyways, that's kind of what's coming through for today.
Mhm.
So how are you
Thank you.
feeling?
No, I feel good. It did confirm some things, but I also found it easier to let go of my self-judgment, having connected with, really it was a conscious choice not to take certain action in the past. It wasn't because I failed. I actually didn't want to do what I was being told to do. So that's a big difference. So that takes some of that weight off of me and thinking, wow, I've been at this for a lot of years and I've got not much to show for it, right? But the first many years, I just was not into any of the marketing strategies that were being taught.
Yeah. Yeah. I know very much what you're talking about, right? Because I
Mhm,
wasn't willing to do a lot of things, or they were exhausting to me. They didn't match me.
mhm,
And
mhm,
then finding the things that, like, if nobody ever responded, would I still do this thing
mhm.
just because it lights me up and it might light somebody else up? Would I still do this thing? Is that sound business advice?
Yeah.
I think in what we're shifting into, I think it's a pretty good approach to things, you know.
Mhm,
So, all right, I'm going to stop recording now,
mhm,
so we can keep this. But thank you for showing up for yourself. I hope there was some benefit to
mhm,
you in it, and I can't wait to see what unfolds for you. So,
mhm. Me too. Thank you so much.